com, and today I'd like to talk about the Sirians, Pleiadians, and Arcturians. Wow, what amazing species! So they are souls. They're not angels or anything like that. They're actual, like they really do exist in our universe, in our like if you look up in the sky. So let's just take a step back here, and if you look up in the sky, in our Milky Way, our one galaxy, there's trillions of stars. And if you, with the current technology that we have, we can look up with our telescopes and we can see trillions of galaxies with trillions of stars. So you can only imagine there's definitely life out there. And these Pleiadians, Arcturians, and Sirians are definitely some of them. And what's really cool is like I work with them quite often when I'm channeling. I work with them when I'm working with my clients, and each one does different things depending on the circumstance, situation. But I don't just guess. Okay, so what's really important with channeling is you always know who you're channeling, and you start with your spirit guides because your spirit guides will always have your highest and greatest good in mind. Once you get to know your spirit guide team and how they're here to help you, and each individual spirit guide on an individual basis, then when you're channeling other kind of star collectives and star souls from other planets and stuff like that, you make sure that you're only channeling ones that are of the light. So really, really important if you're trying to dabble in this stuff and play in this stuff. And I do encourage my students to do this, but make sure you do it safely and in a good way. And so what you can do is you can go through, these are just some of the examples. Obviously, there's more than just these three. And oftentimes when I'm working with like Sirians, for example, they help, with humanity, with healing and all sorts of other cool things. When I work with Arcturians, they help with healing more like on an emotional level, on a spiritual level, and help mankind with like things like advancements in technology, cool things like that. And then the Pleiadians, who I've been working with a lot lately, they also they help with different things like DNA activation. So I teach this, and I also do it in my Ascension group healings. Not all the time, depends on the situation, circumstance. Of course, I channel what the group needs and all that kind of cool stuff. But what I'd like you to do is play with this. Again, work with your spirit guides to make sure that you're channeling safely and you're not just channeling any kind of random species out there in the universe, because there's lots, and most are good and benign and fine and healthy to channel, but there are some that aren't. I've had my experiences with those way back in the early days of my spiritual awakening. So it's really important that you do channel safely and properly. And when you get to know them, what's another cool thing that you could do is you can focus in on your soul in the center of your sternum area, and you can actually go into those past lives. Now, most of the people that I work with have had past lives on all three of those planets, and you can actually go through each one planet, like each planet individually, and you can tune into your soul and say, okay, what was this past life like on the Sirian planet? What was this past life like on this Arcturian planet? What was this past life like on the Pleiadian planet? And you can actually relive those past lives that you had. You can take those good positive skills and attributes and characteristics, and you could take those and bring them into this present moment, this present lifetime, and make spirituality really practical and really real. And then another reason that I teach my students to channel these what's called HESs, or highly evolved species, is because when we start working with them, we can start to operate as at their level. So for example, if we're going through drama or other kinds of situations here on this planet Earth, just ask, okay, how would these other highly evolved species handle this situation? How would these other highly evolved species react or behave in this circumstance? And this is really important because us as humanity, we can't keep doing things the old way, the way our parents did it, the old school way. Like if we keep doing it that way, we won't survive as a species. But if we start to think like, how do these other species, how did they get past all these trials and tribulations and challenges that they had as they were evolving in their early millennia as a species? How can we now do this now, currently in this day and age, and start to act and behave that way, not just on an individual basis, but also on a collective basis? So my name is Ken Lewicki. I teach all this stuff. I teach you, it's probably some of the most comprehensive channeling training you'll find anywhere in the world. Please visit my website, channelinginc.com. You'll learn lots of cool stuff at any of those trainings and website and online workshops there. So have a wonderful day, everyone. I wish you blessings and yeah, so much life and love, because it's actually truly a blessing to be incarnated as a human in this lifetime. But let's make the most out of it. How can we start to behave the way we used to as we were living on past lives on these other planets with these other highly evolved species? Have a great day, everyone.